Your Life in Sex Island, Chapter 4, Illustrious Immigration, page 85. Those Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Panama economies are in ruin. Numbers are boring. I'll try to make it as painless as possible. This is the percentage of the population living below the national poverty line. For a family of 4 in the United States, that's about $20,650. For a single person, $10,210. Honduras, 74.8. That's 3/4 of the population is living in poverty. Nicaragua, 69.3. Guatemala, 60.2. El Salvador, 47.5. Mexico, 35.5. Belize, 33.5. Panama, 33. Costa Rica, 18. And the United States, number 13 from best, 12%. Two main sources are the CIA World Factbook and U.S. Census Bureau. So these numbers seem to say that these economies should be in the ER, the emergency room. 3/4, 3 out of 4 Hondurans are living in poverty. Even among the better ones, Mexico, Belize, and Panama, 1 out of 3 is living in poverty. Yes, there is an incentive to seek a better life elsewhere. Note that the United States has nothing to be proud of. 12%, that's 1 out of 8 living in poverty. This is a list of the countries by GDP purchasing power parity. That is, it's the total gross national product divided by the population. This does not mean that the average person has that much purchasing power. Much of this money goes to institutions. Also, individuals have many subtle and hidden expenses before the money actually reaches them, and there's a huge income disparity. 6 of the 9 countries were listed by both the CIA and the International Monetary Fund. All of the 6 duplicate listings were fairly close, so I used an average. Here they are in US dollars. United States of America, 43,700. Costa Rica, 12,500. Mexico, 11,000. Panama, 8,398. Belize, 8,117. El Salvador, 5,250. Guatemala, 5,000. Honduras, 3,150. And Nicaragua, 3,100. The absolute value of these numbers is not too useful. For example, the average U.S. citizen does not make anywhere near $43,511. Disposable income is more like 1/4 of the number listed. Remember, we are averaging in Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. However, they are useful for comparisons. For example, the average Costa Rican and Mexican, the luckiest of this group, earns about 1/4 of the average American. The average citizen of the remainder of those countries earns about 1/5 to 1/14 of the average U.S. citizen, and the earnings are not distributed equitably. There are much larger inequalities than in the United States of America. This is a list of the percentage of the population living on less than $2 per day and then $1 per day. The United States of America is not listed. Costa Rica, 7.5 and 2.2. Mexico, 20.4 and 4.4. Panama, 17.1 and 6.5. Belize, not listed. Guatemala, 31.9 and 13.5. El Salvador, 40.6 and 19. Honduras, 44 and 20.7. And Nicaragua, 79.9 and 45.1. Got that? Got that? Damn near 80%. 4/5, 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10 of Nicaraguans live on less than $2 per day. I'd cross the burning desert and climb the funny fence too to get to the United States. For Mexico alone, that is 22 million people living on less than $2 per day and about 5 million living on less than $1 per day. I'd put my stuff in a wagon and head north too. Do or die. Choice is limited. Guatemala and Nicaragua add another 8.5 million living on less than $2 per day and 4.25 million living on less than $1 per day. Ouch. They can't even afford a wagon. It's a pretty desperate situation. Of course, they are going to struggle for a better life. This is a list of the ratio of the richest 10% to the poorest 10%. United States of America, 15.9. Costa Rica, 30. Mexico, 24.6. Panama, 54.7. Belize, not listed. Guatemala, 48.2. El Salvador, 57.5. Honduras, 34.2. And Nicaragua, 15.5. So, in the United States, Peter making $20,000 might look at his rich cousin across the tracks, Paul making $318,000. Whereas in Mexico, Pedro might make $5,000 and Paulo across the tracks might make $123,000. In Guatemala, $2,500 versus $121,000. Disparity reeks. The United States of America is by no means the best country in this regard. Nevertheless, it is numerically 2 to 4 times better than our neighbors to the immediate south. These are some of the economic factors, and yes, social factors, that are driving the people who live south of us to come to the United States. These factors are powerful and almost overwhelming. I don't and can't blame them for seeking a better life in the United States of America. I don't go into the factors which are forcing them to do it illegally, but they are overwhelming. There is no reasonable chance for them to get visas. They cannot be legal immigrants. They must be illegal immigrants. You can bitch if you want, but you might as well howl at the moon like your mother did. If you are not willing to work to fix the problem, then shut your effing mouth. Purchase the book now by clicking on the link in the description below.